Great, thank you very much. So we're really excited tonight to have Joe Giralo, Atlantic County Clerk, here with us. One of the things that was interesting, just hearing about the clerk's office, is just what they actually do and some of the interesting statistics. And one of them is that the office has processed over 120 million in real estate transfer fees, recorded over 200,000 documents, processed more than 10,000 passports, overseen 15 elections, and officiated at more than 700 weddings. Like, who knew that this was the role of the Atlantic County Clerk? Such a glamorous job. I'm happy to welcome Joe Giralo. He's a lifelong Hamilton resident, graduate of Hamilton High School, and earned a bachelor's degree in historical studies from Stockton University. His family roots in Hamilton date back to the early 20th century, reflecting a deep multi-generational connection to the community that he serves. He entered public service at age 18. He spent 6 years as a Hamilton councilperson and 15 years as the school board member before running for county clerk in 2021. We know this is, you're starting your election campaign for this year. So with that, I'd like to welcome Joe Giralo.
I'm pretty good with it. Can you hear me without that? Because I'm pretty loud. I've never been accused of being soft-spoken. Thank you, Eileen, for that introduction. First of all, I am most proud to be a Hamiltonian, okay? And as I go around the county all the time, I always say there's two kinds of people. Those that live in Hamilton and those that wish they did. But anyway, that's what I am. I am a proud graduate of our high school. In fact, Mr. Ishmi's wife taught me 3rd grade. So, go way back. Graduate of community college in 1982, graduate of Stockton University in 1984. Always had an interest in our town, always had an interest in our county, all of my life. And been involved in public life. I served 38 years on our planning board, 9 years on our zoning board, and the founding president of the Cruising Classics Auto Club. So I have deep roots and care about our community and our county. I was employed previously, before I became the county clerk, employed by county government from when I was 22 until I retired at the age of 58, working, rehabbing homes. I was in charge of housing rehab. I started in Division of Welfare. I worked for and handled homelessness in the county for many years. Graduated up, took care of housing rehab. Oversaw the housing rehab of over 6,000 homes in Atlantic County. Later went on to handle the first-time home buyers program, where I helped first-time home buyers of low, moderate income, close to 9,000 families in this county. So I've been involved in Atlantic County and worked for Atlantic County government. As you heard, I did serve on our school board. I served as president and vice president. We were all part of the turnaround of our school district. When I got elected to the school board, we had a $2.2 million deficit. My second meeting, we laid off 106 people. Turned around at the end of my 15 years on the Board of Education, we left a $9.2 million surplus at the school board. So been there, done that. Went on to serve on council. Also, then I went on to run for county clerk. It was always a interest of mine, and you'll say why? Because of my degree in history. And the history that's, I call, so rich in our county clerk's office, and talk a little bit about the county. Since doing that, I have served many years with the Atlantic County League of Municipalities, serving as the president of the league, and was honored by my colleagues of county clerks 2 years ago to be chosen as the head of all the county clerks in the state of New Jersey. So something I hold very near and dear to my heart, very proud. And the COANG organization, the constitutional officers. So I do deal with all the county clerks statewide, sometimes on a daily basis. So there's a lot of knowledge that is shared with county clerks. I want to say a few things that I'm proud of what I do. I'm proud of where we are as a county, okay? Let's talk a little bit about Atlantic County, then we'll talk about what a clerk does, okay? I always tell the famous story. I came home and I said to my wife one day, I'm gonna run for county clerk. She looked at me and she said, what's a clerk do? And I have found that most people don't know the function of a county clerk. Let me say also that I'm the proud father of 2 daughters. I'm very proud of my wife, and she's a teacher in our school district. I'm proud of all of that. So my roots are here. I am a 4th generation Hamiltonian, okay, so very much. What does a clerk do? A clerk is the oldest elected or appointed position in the history of the world. What does a clerk mean? A clerk is a record keeper. We keep records. That's what we do. From ancient times, if you owned something, it was registered, it was done at the clerk's office, as we call it, okay? Clerk, a surrogate, and a sheriff are considered in New Jersey constitutional officers. Why are we constitutional officers? Because our jobs, our duties were outlined in the first Constitution of the state of New Jersey in 1791. Since the forming of the state, there have been 3 rewrites to the Constitution of New Jersey, the last one in 1948, which took some of the powers away from the county clerk and gave other powers back to the county clerk. In the original days of New Jersey, the county clerk was the head of the court system as well, and juries. Very interesting. Thank God we don't have that part today. Really not something we want to do. We are, as I call it, a filing cabinet. We're a filing cabinet on the one side of the clerk's office for your deeds, for your mortgages, for liens, for anything that goes on. In New Jersey, 20 of the 21 counties, our records are public information. Hunterdon County is the only one that is not publicly online. They are beginning that process. So years ago, when I worked for the county, upstairs at the clerk's office, there were 50 searchers, people searching deeds, searching stuff. When you buy a property, transfer a property. Today, the upstairs is empty. There's nothing there. It's all done online. Everything is done by computer, and we're going to talk about where we are with all of that. So it's a big difference from where we were to where we are and how it started. Now, I'm going to say this several times. My office is open. You can always come down, take a tour. I love to show it off. I love to show what we've done, and I like to show the history of what it is, okay? Atlantic County became a county 1837. We broke off from Gloucester County, as we all know. And in the packets that I passed out, we became the county in 1837. So we're quickly coming up to almost 200 years, because I don't consider 2037 that far away. In your packet is a list of the municipalities, 23 municipalities in Atlantic County. The smallest one being Corbin City, the largest one being A Carver Township. A Carver Township being one of the oldest communities from the 1600s in Atlantic County. And, you know, it's interesting to see where they came from. Absecon, you know, it was where it came from, where Hamilton came from, as we all know. You know, we were part of Hamilton and part of Mullica Township, okay? And any records that you want to see beyond 1837, you gotta go to Gloucester County. That's where our records are. Our records start with 1837. Proud to say that all of our records have been digitized and are online. Cumbersome, but you can go back, and I brought the original deed book, the original deeds from 1837 that have been filed. And it's important to know that the county clerk, sheriff, and the surrogate, by state statute, must be housed in the county seat. And of course, we know the county seat in this county is Mays Landing. Mays Landing is a 2-mile piece broken out within Hamilton Township. And that's because it was, quote, the center of the county, and that's why it was there. So, in old days, where we would come from. As you know, Hamilton became Hamilton on March the 5th, 1866. I'm proud to say that after becoming clerk, my friend's here tonight, Tony, he knows that I cleaned up 6 30-yard dumpsters of trash that had never been removed from the office. So we cleaned up, and in the midst of cleaning up, we found things that said to be destroyed. There were boxes of original deeds, original incorporation papers that were marked to be destroyed. One of them was the original incorporation papers to the town of Hamilton. They are now product and in safekeeping of the county clerk's office. I have included a copy of the original in your packet for tonight. So you can see the original paperwork, of which I have said to Eileen that I will lend to the town for the 250th celebration of this country. But they are there, we don't touch them much, other than we made copies so that everyone can see the original incorporation papers of the town. And I have them for quite a few of the towns throughout the county. And we will lend them, okay? Also in there, in my findings, were the original incorporation papers for St. Joe's Church on July the 6th, 1886. All things that are there, and it's great to touch something from the formation of the town and their letter to the Board of Chosen Freeholders at the time, which we no longer call them freeholders, they're now county commissioners. Interesting things, please take a look at all of that. I've also included in your packet tonight the original deed, or the second deed, when it became Atlanta County in 1837, on the property that the county offices now sit on, okay, of the surrogate and the county clerk. The sheriff is no longer with us, he is further down at the new courthouse. Behind our building, as I call it, the county clerk's office, because in the original days, county clerk, the surrogate, and the sheriff had to live on the property. You were allowed to go home on weekends from the research I've done, but you basically lived on the property, okay? So I went back and put together a list of county clerks that we've had, and I've included that in your list. The original county clerks were appointed by the legislature until the election system came about in Atlanta County, and that didn't come around until 1845. I've begun to do some research. It's cumbersome and it's hard to learn about my predecessors and who they were and where they lived and what they did. And there's some very interesting things. I have located all of where they are buried, which is funny. That was easy to kind of find out where they've all been buried. I will say that the longest serving county clerk was Bill Blair. He was a resident of Mulligan. He served 50 years as this county's clerk, okay? He started in 1933 and he passed away in office in 1973. And he was 80-some years old when he passed. So he was the longest serving. In our time, there's only ever been one woman that was ever elected as our county clerk, and that was Lori Mooney. She was a friend. She served 19 years as county clerk. So you can see where it goes. It's usually a job of longevity. You don't find people running for clerk and then not running after. It's a job that you like. And everybody that I've read about has had a lot of history involved in it. So take a look at that. That's an interesting scenario. And I find that very fun. Now, about a year ago, I opened the mail, somebody sent me a letter one day, and we're working on getting these restored and on display. We have the original blueprints and building and plans to the original county courthouse, which still remains in the center of our buildings today from 1877. Lady wrote me a beautiful note and said my grandfather worked there and somehow took these home. I don't think you just somehow took them home, so to speak. Yeah, so they're in beautiful shape. It's excellent to see how the original building took place. In 1906, there was an addition, two additions. The addition to add the clerk's office, because we had outgrown it at that time, and the surrogate, and there were three separate buildings. Those three separate buildings stayed until 1979, when the county tied all three of them together. The sheriff lived in the residence behind. The county is slowly going forth with restoration of that building. We've had several discussions to take that building over, as long as I'm still the clerk, and make it a historic monument, because it is on the national list, and make it a museum. And going back to my school board history, do fourth grade trips there when we teach New Jersey history, and we can teach you about your county. We have so many artifacts, so many things that I think that the youth would love to see about our county. Very, very interesting stuff. If you come down to the office, you'll see that I have the original Dixie cup holder from the 1920s in the office. I have the original ballot box from 1837 on display in our office. We have the original deed to the property from 1761. All of these things. There's so much history, and elected officials, and some of the things that, you know, when you think about it, that came out of this county. As a history major, I studied about Hap Farley. Some of you may not have ever heard of Hap Farley. He was the longest serving state senator. He was from Atlantic County. He was the one with the Community College Act. He was the one with the expressway, the parkway, turnpike. All of that came from Atlantic County, so our roots are long and deep. We were the first boardwalk in Atlantic County in the United States of America. So there's so much history here. I want to show it off. I want to talk about it. Let's talk a little bit about how the clerk's office has progressed. In the early days, there were no copy machines. There were no typewriters. Everything was handwritten. We have pictures back to 1906 in my office with the women that worked with a pen and ink in the county clerk's office. So if you came in with your deed, they sat there and copied it, all by hand. Okay? I brought with me tonight, and I put on the table, the original deeds from 1837 that were filed in this county and handwritten. It's something to see that people sat there for hours and hours on end and hand wrote, because there was no such thing as a copy machine. And I've read accounts from people that retired that left notes and said how on Fridays they quit a half hour early to clean out their pen and ink so that it would dry for Monday. And whose job it was to load the coal stove. They had gas lights in my building, where we are now. And that's very interesting. Around 1927, typewriter came to the Atlantic County Clerk's office. And things were begun to be typed instead of handwritten all day long with a pen and ink. So we got to see that. We moved up from a pen and ink to a typewriter. 1945, Atlantic County was the first clerk's office in the state of New Jersey to have some type of a copy machine that smelled, took up a big part of the room, and we have those original copies from 1945. That system stayed in place of making copies when you came in with deeds and mortgages to file until 1984. 1984 was the beginning of the computer age. Very interesting. Then we migrated and continued to make copies and go ahead and put them into the book. At one time, the county clerk's office had 2 staff. They were gentlemen that worked in a shed in the back, and they bound all of them into books. They did so many, and they were bound into books. We have over 20-some thousand books, which I can tell you I have lifted and moved every one of them. They are all in order, and our records go back to 1837. Greg's been there, and Deb, they've seen that.
Tell them about the foresight when they marked that book.
Okay. When you look for things today, you look at a lot and block number. Well, whoever was the genius that started the Atlantic County Clerk's office, we started with Book A. I guess they never thought we'd get to Z. It's kind of weird. Book A was done when the first 6 months of the county, okay? And once a system is started, you can't go back and change it. So we are one of the counties, if you typed in a lot and block, nothing's coming up. You gotta search everything in Atlantic County by last name. There's no way to go back and convert all of those records. We do put lot and blocks in and qualifiers nowadays, and you can do some of that. But if you're going back, no, it's only by name. And in all honesty, when you read some of the old deeds, they didn't exactly spell the names right all the time, so it's the way it is. So half the counties started with the letter A and filed by name. Lot and blocks. And then keep in mind, as time progressed, not only in this county, but all counties, lot and blocks changed. Things changed, so the lot and block you have now may not be the lot and block that it was back then. So everything goes that way. The interesting part of all of this is this. In the year 2026, we record anywhere between 50 and 80,000 documents a year in our office. We're about the 7th largest county with recording documents statewide. 86% of our work comes in through e-file, which means we never, ever see a piece of paper. It comes in, we record it, we copy it, but not copy it like you think on a copy machine. It copies and it's recorded. There's nothing really for you to give back. About 14% of our work is paperwork. People that come in or mail in and file a deed or a mortgage or a release. We scan them in and you get your paper back. So there's no more paper that's collected at the county clerk's office. All of our information is stored on a cloud. We're cloud-based, and our records are there. As you heard, in the last 4 years since I've been the clerk, we recorded nearly 250,000 documents. Those documents could be from 1 page to, as Tony knows, several hundred pages, okay? County clerk's office, the only office in county government that doesn't use taxpayer money. No taxpayer dollars are used in the county clerk's office. Why? Everything is set up with a user fee. Trust fund, I'll talk all about that. For example, you file a deed, there's a cost involved. State of New Jersey legislature over the years, realty transfer fees, okay? Realty transfer fees, whatever you do, the state of New Jersey gets their bite. I can tell you anytime that our office sees a deed in excess of $1 million, state of New Jersey has to have their money within 48 hours from our office. Wow. So it's an in and out type thing. Total receipts of $122 million went to the state of New Jersey from this county in the last 4 years. There's a trust fund. Clerk has a trust fund. $2 is charged for every document that goes through the county clerk's office. That goes into the trust fund. That trust fund is for us to run our office. Upgrades, computers, carpets, advertising, you name it. Also, roughly $4 to $6 million out of the realty transfer fees go to the county budget to offset taxes. And $1.1 million goes for my staff for their employment and their benefits. So our office is a revenue generator to the state of New Jersey, which is an interesting concept in government. So that's what we do. The documents ebb and flow based upon interest rates and where we are. When interest rates were high, people aren't buying property, they're not refinancing, they're not doing all of that stuff. So our revenues drop down. When interest rates come down, people refinance, times happen, it moves. A month ago, we saw our first $5 million deed on a residential property in Brigantine. So times have certainly changed. That's the first time we've seen a $5 million deed. As I'm alerted every time, through the computer, every time $1 million deed hits our records. Okay, we've seen those deeds on commercial properties, but not on residential properties. Okay, we're proud of that. So we record, we take things off. It never comes off. You can always view it. You can go to my website, countyclerk.org. You can do a search. I always tell people, do a search and see what's under your name. You can tell every time you took out a mortgage, you can tell every time it was canceled, every time it was, every property you own, it's all public information and it's all there, okay? Now, as county clerk's office grew over the years, it was given other responsibilities, okay? We handle passports. We are an agent for the federal government to handle passports. Over the past 4 years, my office has issued over 10,000 passports. We don't actually issue it. We collect the information, so on and so forth. We do the pictures, we do everything else. We help you with your application, and we move you on. No appointment necessary, by the way, not like the post office, okay? I pride ourselves in the day I became clerk, appointments went out the window. You come there, you're gonna be serviced. That's what it's all about. We are a service-oriented organization, okay? We're the only place that you get sworn in as a notary. It's approximately 5,000 notaries in Atlanta County. Five-year term for your notary thing, so you get, we get to see everyone, and you're sworn in by the clerk or one of his deputies. It is one of the things I enjoy doing because I gotta tell you, the average person's not used to taking an oath and they get all nervous, okay, but it's a lot of fun, okay? That's all a part of it, doing those things. Now, let's go a little bit different. When the last constitution in New Jersey was done, election duties were given, more election duties were given to the clerk. In Atlanta County, we have something very different than most other counties. Most other counties, the county clerk is the chief person in charge of elections. In our county, we have a board of elections, superintendent of elections, and a county clerk. It's a lot, because people get confused of who handles what, who does what. Under statute, and there's 8 counties that run this way in the state. Under state statute, I'm the collector of countywide petitions for someone seeking office. Independent candidates file with the county clerk's office. Board of Education candidates file with the county clerk's office. State candidates file in Trenton. Federal candidates also file in Trenton. Your municipal candidates file in your municipality. Cumbersome, right? County clerk then gathers all of that information, and my responsibility is to put together the draw, which puts candidates in line, row A, row B, block, so on and so forth. And by the way, the statutes for election change all the time. It is a moving ball. When I first became clerk, we had row A, we had row B in the primary, you had party line. No longer, we have block in the primary, row A, row B in November, okay? Been involved in all of that. So you take a look and say, okay, so then after we do that, the clerk is responsible for the ballot. I'm responsible for the formation of the ballot, the formation of your sample ballot, the drawing up of your vote by mails. Lastly, I'm responsible of the mailing of vote by mails. Okay, this county, we send out about 24,000 vote by mails. Okay, primary is less, thanks to my efforts of arguing that why would we send both ballots to an unaffiliated voter at a cost, and we were getting back less than 2%, I threw them away. Boom. So we mail out approximately, between both elections, slightly under 40,000 vote by mails. Right now, our office has gone through fire district elections. Hamilton is not a fire district. Bonneborough and Buena Vista. Bonneborough moved and Weymouth moved their fire district elections to November after discussion, because it's a lot less costly. Buena Vista, 5 fire districts, their election is on the 21st of February. So we've just completed mailing out the vote by mails for all of that. So we are responsible, and at the end of the day, the clerk is responsible to certify the election. That's state statute, so we certify the election. Right now, we're going through a special school board election in Egg Harbor Township for a $36 million bond referendum. So all of that is going through our office at the same time. So generally, we have primary, we have the general, we have fire district elections, and then we have some communities, Down Beach, Ventnor, Margate, and Longport. They are nonpartisan communities. Their elections are in May. So if you ask me, there's always an election going on at the county clerk's office. There's always something moving. There's always an overlap of an election. There's always something, okay? I'm sure that many of you have read about the vote by mail and my thoughts on some of the, I'm gonna use the word corruption that has taken place, okay? My office was the lead on some of that, and currently Mr. Callaway is serving time in jail for what went on at the Atlanta County Clerk's office, okay? Because I do believe, I don't care who you vote for or what you do, it should be a fair and honest election, okay? And as the clerk, if you're sitting there watching them pay people $10 to fill out a vote by mail, there's just something not right, okay? So we do that. So that is all part of it. When we talk about the other two parts of the election, superintendent, she's in charge of the machines, the programming of the machines. She's in charge of voter registration. Board of Elections, they're in charge of your counting the vote by mails. They're in charge of the poll workers. They're in charge of that type nature stuff. And the three of us come together to make the election cycle work. In other counties, it's usually just a Board of Elections and a county clerk. Here we have three tiers, so it's much different than any other place. And often people get confused about how that works. But once you get it, you get it. The laws change, the statutes change with elections all the time. It came out, good thing, 2 years ago, went into effect that if you didn't vote your vote by mail for 4 years, we were allowed to remove you from the list. We don't remove you as a voter, but we do that. Because by the time you're done with the printing and the envelopes and the man hours, you're looking at $10 a piece to send them out. Keep in mind, and I hear this all the time, general elections have to be held, county pays that, state reimburses the counties. Primary elections are paid for by your municipality. We bill your municipality for everything that goes on. So you gotta always be looking to see what changes. Last year, legislature changed signature bill. Get on a ballot in the county now, 300 signatures, used to be 100. So things change, could go back, could change, who knows? Some of the things are good moves. Some of them, as a clerk, makes it very difficult. Our time frames are very difficult. When the draw is done, we've got 5 days to construct the ballot, look at it, put it together, and go to print and be in the mail. Let me give you an idea. You see your sample ballot and you think that's great, that's nice. This year's election, we have county committee on both sides. I'm looking at over 105 different ballot types. And you say, why? Well, county committee on the Democratic side, they run in district wards. They could have a different person for every voting place that they have in a city. Atlantic City does that. You're looking at the only county that has commissioners / freeholders that run in districts. That's another ballot, because a Carver Township is represented by 4 commission districts. So one side of the street may be voting for somebody and the other side may not be. So that's all creation of the ballot of how you have to do all this stuff. So it becomes interesting. We're lucky, congressional district, we're all one. Legislative district, 4 different districts represent Atlantic County in the legislature. 14 towns in District 2, District 1, 3, District 8, 4, and District 4, 2. Off the top of my head, that's what we do. You gotta know where it goes and what street it breaks on, so that you don't screw up the ballots when election time comes. Most important. We rely on the state election system. I'll also use the words, it's antiquated at times. It's not up to date at times. But we do the best we can with what we have. Approximately 210,000 registered voters in this county. A lot of registered voters. Average turnout is under 40% in this county. Vote by mails, with the 24,000 we mail out, under 50%, 60% return. Questions? I bored everybody.
You
Bill?
mentioned, I've heard about the fire district.
Yeah, fire
What's that
districts,
mean?
fire district is different. I'll explain to you. On that fire district is, most of the 5 fire districts in Buena Vista have 2 representatives that serve a 3-year term on a fire board. Also, on their tax bill is a separate line for their fire department. In Hamilton, it's covered with, in your taxes. If they need to bond to buy a tanker or a truck, or they need hoses, that's all put to the voters in that fire district to vote for that. Very interesting. I will tell you that the turnout is low. My wife and I always, on that night, I take a ride and I check out all the polling places, because I take my job serious, and we do that. Last year, Mill May, you know how many voters they had in the fire district?
2.
You got it, 2 people came out, 2.
Jeez.
The big one is usually Collins Lake, they get around 12. Okay, so we're looking at an election with a citywide election that spends a lot of money with less than 100 people coming out to vote.
Jeez.
I can tell you that our office has mailed out 900 vote by mails, of which we'll probably get about 10 back. But it's the way their system is set up. So on their tax bill, it's a fire district tax. Okay, so, you know, I have met with other communities that have taken that election and moved it to the November election, because it's easier to incorporate it. And I'll be real fair. Some places won't give in because they don't want that many votes on their fire district budget. Okay? I always say it's your money. You do what you need to do, okay? And in all honesty, they do a nice job, but I will tell you, Mill May is, I feel bad, because, you know, when you get 2 voters there, and you got 2 people running for office, it's like, are you kidding me? And last year they had a write-in. It was a write-in, and you want a write-in with 1 vote. I mean, you know, when you do that. So then we certify that. We certify that through the municipal clerk. And then that becomes on their tax bill for July, when the new tax bills come out. Okay? So, you know, I know one of them last year was buying a new fire truck, and they were bonding it, and they had to explain to the people. That didn't even bring people out. It's just, you know, I would love to see it fold in. I would love to see it fold in. Fire districts are very big up north. North Jersey's much bigger with fire districts than we serve. Okay? But then we'll talk about the nonpartisan elections. So, that's Ventnor, Margate, and Longport. Margate and Ventnor do theirs in May. We were able to convince Longport to move their nonpartisan election to fall in the election so that it didn't cost them money. Because I can tell you off the cuff, in a smaller town with an election off the general cycle, we have to bill for that. You're looking at $20,000 or $30,000 to pull that election off with all of the election things. So Longport got very smart and said, we're gonna fold this in to the November, if you can put it on a separate spot on the ballot, because we're neither Republican and we're neither Democrat, and that works just fine. So there's no extra cost to that. Same thing with school districts. When school district elections were in April, there was a cost, because you're running an election. Keep in mind, when you're running an election countywide, we have 154 polling places on election day, 154. 6 workers in each, multiply it out, keep going. The price is crazy. I'm a big fan of early voting, 9 days early voting. Go wherever you want in the county and vote. In fact, there's some bills in the legislature that are gonna take a town like Hamilton and have 2 polling places, and you can go to either one, and we're praying that that bill passes, because then it becomes a lot easier. Place like Egg Harbor Township, 22 different polling places. It's a pain in the neck, to be honest with you. Secure the place, do the place, get the results. Polling centers is what the county clerks wanna see, okay? And I think that it works, and it saves money. And let's be honest, we're paying each one of those workers $300 a piece. The main person gets $400, multiply that money out, it's a lot of money. Elections are not cheap. Necessary to our Constitution, not cheap. Okay? Lastly, I want to talk about something that I brought back when I became the clerk. My predecessors were never big on it, and that was marrying people. Tony's laughing. I enjoy that part of the job more than anybody knows, because you get to meet all kinds of folks, okay? And they want to be married, and we want you to be married, okay? And to date, I've done over 750 weddings in 4 years and 1 month. Tomorrow I have 4 of them on the docket. Luckily, Valentine's Day this year is on a Saturday. Last year, we married 9 couples on a Friday. Some county clerks marry once a month, some county clerks marry twice a year, some of them marry only on holidays. It's your day, we do whatever you need to do. We marry at the office. We marry down by the river in Mays Landing. I've married people in Blueberry Farms, and I've married people in hospitals. It's a real thing to see people be happy. I've met all kind of people, and it's been the most enjoyable part of my job, okay? Making people happy every day. Any questions? I invite all of you to come down to the clerk's office. I love to give a tour, love to show you what's there. The building was built in 1906. Yes, sir.
How many employees do you have, Joe?
Okay, when I became clerk, we had 28, we now have 21.
So you run the whole county on 21?
21, okay? I have an office in Atlantic City, where we mainly do notaries, passports, and when the woman is not busy there, she is doing input on the computer there, so it works out just fine. Some days, today, I think the sun came out, we had 70-some walk-ins in the clerk's office in Mays Landing. It was like, okay, because we keep a record of how many people come every day. We had 70-some walk-ins today. When school is out, passports are off the charts. Christmas vacation, passports are off the charts. Kids are off from school. Because if you're under 16 years old, you have to, what? You have to have both parents there to do your passport, okay? The other thing I'm most proud about that I brought to the county clerk's office, and we were the 2nd county in the state to do this, was property fraud alert, because we all know that with our records being public, the bad guys don't sleep. And as you go on my site, you can learn all about yourself, and so does the crook. They learn all about you. You can see that they take out mortgages in your name, they transfer deeds, they play all kinds of games. We brought this is LifeLock for your property. Trying to find my paperwork. This is LifeLock for your property. It is a free service through the Atlanta County Clerk's Office. I say to you, go in, register. I cannot register you. You have to register it because you have to have an email address. Anything that comes up, that somebody uses your name with a land record in Atlanta County, you're gonna get the alert. It's free, don't pay for it. The $300 to $500 on television, LifeLock for your property, it's free through the county clerk's office. Now, you're gonna ask me, did anything ever happen in this county? Yes, it happened. It happened in 2019 and 2020, and I put that article in the packet for you to see that there were some fake deeds created with property in Atlantic City, and unbeknowing buyers thought they were buying great boardwalk property for $50,000, $60,000 in Atlantic City. Actually, the city owned the ground, the person created fake deeds, which got through the clerk's office because, quite frankly, we don't research every deed that comes in, every piece of paper that comes in. We'd never get past day one to say, hey, Anthony, did you really do this? Did you really notarize this? That's the job of a notary, and that'll be my letter in the paper this week about the job of a notary. We have to rely on what the law gives us. We gotta trust that that notary certified that and saw that, had the information on that person. These guys did wind up going to jail. But it happens. It happens every day. People take out loans against people. People take that property, transfer the deed like it was being sold. A lot of municipal property, we see it all the time. Oh, it's municipal, and they create fake deeds. And it happens. I'm not gonna tell you that it doesn't happen. It's free. We've got about 30,000 people countywide that have signed up since I brought the program there. Brought it there within my first 4 months of being county clerk, because I believe that it's that important. Speak to senior groups about it all the time. Explain to them that if you're older and you don't have an email or a computer, you have to have a family member, I'm sure, that can do it. It's very simple. You do it from your phone, you can do it from your home computer. I get calls all the time once people sign up. They'll say, I got a notice. Yes, anything you do in our office, whether you renew your notary or you did a vote by mail and it goes through the new vision system, you're gonna get a notice. I always tell everyone, sign up, it's free. Takes about 5 minutes. If you sign up, you get a notice and you need help and somebody is doing something, we always say, call the clerk's office. I go right up on a computer, I can tell what's real and what's not real right away. I have to tell you, since we put the program into effect, we have not had anybody's property stolen in Atlanta County that we're aware of that signed up for the program, because you get that property alert. So please sign up for it, it's free. I don't care how many properties you have, you can put them all. Sign up for them. Even if you don't live in Atlanta County, but you have property in Atlanta County, still register. Because the more you go after them, the less we're gonna put up with people trying to do it. And I'm a firm believer that once we put this system into place, it kind of spooked people from saying, oh, I'm not gonna try that, because I don't know whether you're signed up or not. There's no notification whether you're signed up or not. So I ask people, please sign up. It's important. If you have any issues, call the office, you always ask for me, or talk to Amanda, and she'll step you through it. Come to the office, we'll show it to you on a screen, how it happens. In there, it's gonna ask you for your name, because of course, as I said earlier, that's how we record property here. Your name. I have Joseph, Joe, my nicknames, anything that you have, put, because you'd be surprised what people do. They don't sleep at night. Any questions? How'd I do, Eileen?
Perfect.
All right. Yes, ma'am.
This is great to know. Do you have any other tips of things we should know about? I had no idea about that.
No idea about property being stolen, right?
Well, I had no idea there was this LifeLock.
Yeah, there's LifeLock, and it's important, okay? You can buy LifeLock for several different phases of your life, your credit cards, your this, your that. I've been a victim in the last year of an identity theft, okay? My wife was here, it was a Friday night and the phone rang and it was my bank calling from North Carolina, and they wanted to know if I was there trying to withdraw $70,000 out of my checking account. And I said, quite frankly, no, I'm sitting in my living room in Hamilton. They said, well, we kind of figured that because you took $100 out at Wawa. But the guy actually has a New Jersey license with all of your information on it. So yeah, it does. It happens each and every day. Okay, it happens. And I have to be honest. Our older people are so susceptible if they get a phone call to give the information. I was with the sheriff yesterday because the biggest scam is, the Easy Pass one that I'm sure most of you get the text message, you're gonna get locked up because, you owe Easy Pass. Most of these people don't even have Easy Pass, but they're getting a text message. One lady that we know from Brigantine, she was scammed to the point that she thought her granddaughter was picked up by the police in college. And she went down to the bank and took out $15,000 and went to the place and brought the money. It's gone. I will tell you right now that the FBI is not, they are so busy with scams that they are not investigating unless you were stole over $100,000 from you right now. So it's an important thing. So please sign up. If you got questions, you can go on and look at your property. You can go on and look at your records. Check it first. I know I checked mine. Last year set me really straight. Okay, when you think that somebody has your driver's license information with their picture on it, after it takes you 6 points and all that stuff to get a shredder license, and he walks into the bank and says, I want to take $70,000 out of this account. I just arrived in North Carolina. My wife is Gina. My pension check is in there. And I just wrote this check, had all of the information to the T of the account. They don't sleep. So they don't sleep with your property either, especially because our records are public. They know what you own. I'm a Facebooker. Most dangerous thing in the world you could say. I'm out. I'm here. I have kids. Everybody knows everything about everybody nowadays. There's no secrets. So take that for real. It's something I've taken near and dear to my heart because I don't want to see something that somebody's worked for be scammed. That's my tip. That's my tip. It happened to me personally. Okay? So I'm registered. I'm there. I've locked down all my credit cards. I've signed all the papers that I can't even open a credit card anymore because why they did that, they were trying to open credit cards at the same time. Horrible. It's a horrible experience when you have to close down everything you have to start all over.
Well, I'm glad your bank called you, that was good.
Well, it was amazing because he was like kind of stuttering. And I guess the tellers are bright enough to know, and I'm gonna use that word, that on Friday nights at 5:45, before the bank closes at 6, they rush in and try to do this. And I found that out when I went and filed complaints, because I had to file complaints, because I now have a 4-digit number, because I was concerned, this person has a driver's license with my name on it. What if he did something that was horrible? How would they not know that it wasn't me in North Carolina doing this? So I will tell you, you gotta go to your police department, you gotta register, you gotta have a personal PIN number. So if I get pulled over by a cop, he asks me what's my PIN number, because it's in the national database now to make sure it's me. Craziness. This is the world we live in, guys. Anything else? If not, I appreciate it. Come down to the office, take a look at the books. Town of Hamilton Corporation papers, we will loan them to Hamilton. Okay, and anything else that we find. My friends were down, they have seen quite a bit of it. We have approximately 10,000 books like that with handwritten records. They're all in order, and you can find anything. Even though you can search my website all the way back to 1837, some of the copies are not clear enough. So you call, we pull the book, you come in and say it. We stay with you. in prior years, people ripped the page out and took off with it. We can't have that, because that history's gone. So, thank you, I appreciate it, and look forward to it.